So again, thank you so much for coming to Charlotte Mecklenburg Library's Parent Lunch and Learn program on the importance of summer reading. So today, these are our objectives. We are hoping that we will dive into some of that research behind summer learning loss, look at some ways to promote summer learning at home. We're going to talk about how to select books to combat the summer learning loss, and then we'll look into how we can motivate our readers using our Charlotte Mecklenburg Library's summer reading program. So everybody can leave today understanding how to make those informed decisions for summer reading and learning for your family to instill that love of reading. And then hopefully you will register for our library summer reading program. So we'll have to start with something called a summer slide. You may have heard about this before, but students can lose anywhere from 1 to 3 months of their learning over the course of the summer. And this is according to a meta-analysis of all numerous studies regarding summer learning loss. And the National Summer Learning Association shared that by ninth grade, that summer learning loss during the elementary school years accounts for 2/3 of the achievement gap in reading between peers. So, I mean, that is a huge gap that if you think about all those summers, how they really, really add up and can affect our learning. And even if we're thinking about summer learning in 2020, with the pandemic and everything, that exacerbated the gap even more. And we're still trying to recoup those losses there. So the summer slide is real, and but there is such an opportunity for learning in the summer. We know that summer, nearly all children, no matter how advantaged, learn more slowly during summer vacations than they do during the school year. So the summertime is the time that we can catch up. It gives those students or children an opportunity to catch up and an opportunity to shrink that gap. And so there's so many ways to stimulate learning during the summer months. And so now we'll just share a couple of those practices that you can consider for trying out this summer. So the first easy way to stimulate summer learning is by you, the parent, modeling your own learning. And so we know as influencers, kind of in social media, persuading us to buy a product, try something new, that's kind of what you need to think about yourself as a parent or caregiver. You can provide that influence for your child. If your child sees you reading or explaining math or something in your everyday activity, they're more likely to want to do it as well and believe that they can do it too. And so children actually have to be taught to read for pleasure. So it's easier to read during the summer. This is the great place to show them that, if they see you reading for pleasure, then they can read for pleasure too. So maybe think about instead of assigning tasks or assigning worksheets, allow your child to select something on their own, which the library is a great place to do that because the possibilities are endless for book access by coming to the library. And then even thinking about other subjects, you can help your child build their math skills by understanding that it's just a part of their everyday life, like everything from sorting laundry, using directions to get somewhere, measuring distances, even discussing how high or low something is, filling those sand buckets at the beach. I mean, everything can be turned into a learning activity, just simple summer activities that you are normally just doing so that your child sees that it's more than just like memorizing or doing a worksheet or flashcards. It really can be fun as well. And so your parent attitude, the caregiver attitude for learning and that influence for learning in all subject is far reaching, definitely, and should be encouraged. You may have heard of this book. It's a great book to read. It's called The Knowledge Gap by Natalie Wexler. And so in the book, Wexler shares that knowledge and vocabulary building better prepare students for future academic achievement regardless of background. And she argues that a lack of knowledge is actually a main contributor to learning gaps. So the more that we can show knowledge to our children, expose our children to experiences, to things all throughout the summer, it creates that body of knowledge that your child has about the world. And so, like I mentioned, the summer is that great opportunity to plan out experiences for your child to expand their body of knowledge in the world. I mean, these are some great tools for those experiences throughout the summer. Charlotte on the Cheap has like those cheap and free experiences that the community can have. And then there is Charlotte Parent, Mecklenburg County Park and Recreation. Then there is a lot of free museums happening in Charlotte as well, and a lot of them accept those benefits even to make admission lower so that all families have access. But of course, the biggest resource for experiences is Charlotte Mecklenburg Library. We have 21 library branches all around our county, and so many programs are happening, everything from story time to art club to STEAM clubs to gaming programs, and all of that is like one more knowledge that a building puzzle in your child's brain that just adds to those experiences so that when your child is reading on their own, it's going to trigger some of these things that they've already learned, and it's going to help them so much more with their reading. So those are some great experiences that we can put in place. And then we know that reading research, time and time again, tells us the amount of reading that students do outside of the school setting correlates to reading achievement. So basically, the more your child is reading, the more learning that's taking place. And so there's this author, Terry Lassane, and she is an author professor, and she came up with these 4 steps that we can put in place with this acronym CARE to care about our readers and set them up for success with our summer reading. So the C stands for choice. So like I mentioned before, providing readers with lots and lots of choice and not only like small, narrow lists, which a lot of times our schools might even send us with, these are the set books you have to read this summer. Well, like I mentioned, coming to the library, expanding the choice, letting your child choose what they'd like to read is going to want them, going to improve that motivation to read too. So then access stands for the A in our care about our reader acronym. Access, many researchers point to the need for readers having easy access to books at all times. So the library, again, is that spot to gain access to lots of books for free. But again, if you don't live close to the library, there are thousands of digital books that you can have access to right on your computer, on your phone. And so you want to be able to access the content of the text on your own. So that's going to be having baskets around all throughout your house, having even a basket in the car of books, just making it easy to have books and to be able to read at all time. And then the R stands for response. So finding balance must be sought between holding readers accountable for their reading, but then not making that accountability like a huge burden. Like after you read this book, you need to do this book report. That just turns off the reader for reading. But you can kind of think about some kind of response as if I'm sitting side by side and we're reading this text, I'm asking questions and I want to know about the book that you read, or maybe it's at the end, just so that you know that the child is reading and that they are accountable for their reading, but that it's in a minimal format. So we're not like stopping the flow after every chapter so that we lose everything and lose their focus, but that there is a response to the text. And then the E, like we've been saying this whole time, is enthusiasm, that we need models of reading that are enthusiastic about books and reading. So you as the influencer in your household, our library staff members, of course, are enthusiastic about reading as well. So showing that you are a model of that as well. So we want to care for our readers. And then I have already reiterated this multiple times, but why summer reading is important, I would argue there's three big skills. The first is that it's going to improve your child's reading skills. Like when you're reading aloud, when your child's reading aloud, even if you take turns or if you read aloud to your child the whole time or they read aloud to you, however you works for your family, you're strengthening many, many skills for your child, including your child's language, just talking back and forth. Their vocabulary is improving and comprehension skills. So you're building your child's knowledge so that when they start reading on their own, they're going to be so much more ready because they have an understanding already of what they're reading. And then the second big reason is that it fosters this love of reading, providing those reading experiences during the summer creates readers that are interested in reading, but also improves your child's confidence in reading too. Like recognizing that reading is a difficult skill, but that we can do it together for sure. And so when you're showing your child, like we've said this whole time, that you love reading, your child's naturally going to care about it because they see that you care about it too. They value it too. And then last reason is that it's preventing that learning loss over the summer. Like I said, there's so many studies that show that students who don't read during the summer experience the decline in their skills, that summer slide that we said. And one study found that just even children who read 6 books over the summer stayed the same or improved their reading. And so a child that didn't read at all usually saw a loss of 1 grade level. So, I mean, 6 books, that's really nothing if you think about it in the summertime. So let that be like the low bar, but that we want to encourage reading all summer long. And so, luckily, the library provides a way for you to do all these things easily with our summer reading program that we have for free happening at the library. So, what it is we encourage daily reading. So, I know at the beginning we were mentioning like how often should we read, what time period. Our program is all about getting in the habit of reading every single day for any length of time. So, just getting that daily habit is going to improve your child's reading skills. You could even start small and work your way up, maybe 10 minutes a day, and then work up to 20 minutes or so. Not too long, not too short, but the goal is to read every day to get in the habit of daily reading. And then to think about reading as anything. Like reading can be a book, but it can also be a comic strip. It could be a graphic novel. It could be an article on the internet. You know, it could be an article you're reading on your phone, a piece of mail, the back of a cereal box. You know, we read everywhere in our everyday lives. And there's two ways that you can track your reading that you can have for children to track. They can track digitally using an app that we call Beanstack. So you would just download that app and you could sign up for the program using your library credentials or by hand using a paper tracker. So all of our library locations have these paper trackers, and I can also link the tracker in an email that I follow up with and in the link below this video too. But the tracker looks like this, and every single day that you read, you could put a sticker on it, you could check it off, you could color it in, whatever works for your family. And then based on your reading, when you get to these stars on our board, you earn incentives from the library. So let me share some of those so that you can encourage your child and motivate them to read this summer. So for readers ages 5 to 18, everybody earns a free Frosty coupon just for signing up from Wendy's. And then every time you hit those stars, which is every 15 days on the tracker, you earn a small prize from the treasure chests at any library location for every 15 days of completing reading. So, I mean, these are small little things, fun little toys kids love to, like everything from little packs of markers and crayons to squish ball things and fun incentives for kids. With at least 45 days of reading, you're entered for grand prize drawing experiences, which I'll share in our next slide. But this also, like we mentioned, is for not just for ages 5 to 18, it's for everyone in our community because we want your kids seeing you as the adult reading as well. And so for all other readers, the ages 0 to 5 and 18 plus, you can earn a free Frosty coupon as well for signing up. But then you also can earn the small prizes from the treasure chest every 15 days also. It's just those grand prize experiences we are limiting to school age children because we are combating that summer slide and learning loss is what we're focused on. And so let me share some of the grand prize drawings that we have. So for children and teens ages 5 to 18, and once you have logged with your library card or One Access, then and at least 45 days on the tracker, it could be paper or digital. These are some of our grand prize experiences that we hope can motivate your children to read this summer. Charlotte FC has generously contributed a 4-pack of tickets. So that's one for every one of our 21 branches. There's going to be a club stadium tour that you can win. There is a Carewinds pack of tickets for every branch that we will draw out. And then the Grant Williams Foundation has generously partnered with us to offer a suite experience for one of the Hornets games coming up for this next season, as well as a limo ride and a pizza party with Grant Williams himself, a Charlotte Hornets player, and then also some signed memorabilia from Grant Williams. So lots and lots of incentives and ways to motivate kids to read this summer. So those key dates to remember are that now this started June 2nd, last Monday, but it is going to, you can start registering now saying that you're going to participate in the program. And then the dates that we're actually starting to log our reading is this Saturday, June 14th through Saturday, August 16th. And then your tracker will guide you into those incentive dates after. And so we all can register at cmlibrary.org/summer. And I'll make sure to email that to you all as well so that you can get logged in and signed up if you haven't already visited your library to get signed up. And then just wanted to give some quick motivation activities to motivate your child to read this summer. So it might mean if you're in a lull or if you have a reluctant reader, you might have to change some things in your house so that you can try something new. And so, see, these are some of our recommendations. You might want to change where you read. So maybe we're reading outside today. Maybe we're reading in a coffee shop. Maybe we're reading in the library. Maybe even we're reading in a different, unique part of our house, like even in the bathtub, make it silly, make it fun. We also have story walks that, if you're not familiar with, these are at 6 different parks around town. And what we do is we take a story and we cut it up and we put it all throughout the park with questions. So that's a great way to read as well and participate in a summer activity at the same time. You might want to change what you're reading. So, like I mentioned, anything counts as reading: comics, books, recipes, instructions. It's all reading. And then we can expand who is reading. So, is it other family members, friends? We also have a Reading Buddies program at the library that we invite volunteers to come read aloud with children. So, that might be something where you would want to sign your child up for that this summer. A lot of our library branches do take a break for the summertime, but we do have 6 libraries that are participating in that Reading Buddies program this summer. And then they all will pick back up in the fall for the school year. But like I mentioned, make it fun. You can use voices, movement, make up stories of your own. And then we want to extend our reading time too. So if anything you're reading about is something you actually can do, go do it. So if it's at a park, go to the park. If you see a recipe in your book, make the recipe. We always want to relate the book as much as possible back to our child's life because that's going to strengthen them as a reader. So we say to let your child choose to read widely and wildly. So however your child wants to read, maybe they want to read the same thing over and over. That is completely fine. Maybe they want to you and them to take turns the whole time, or maybe they just want to read aloud to you the whole time. Anything works when we're reading together because we just want to get in that daily habit of reading and having that special time together as a family. And so, some final thoughts to leave you with there's that to model your own learning this summer, like we mentioned, and create those learning experiences for your child. You be the influencer and modeling that great reading time. Read for pleasure. So, you read so that your child sees that you're reading. Have those books everywhere so that it's not difficult to pick up a book and read, and then join our summer reading program. Those are the recommendations to have an amazing summer reading experience and a way for your child over the summer to combat that learning loss and start the school year really strong. So these are just some references we talked about, and then we will pause and stop our recording for